Hello everyone, and once again, welcome to another very beautiful chess game of Paul Morphy. And after seeing this game, I say to myself, how did I miss this game? Well, this game is a very beautiful chess game by Paul Morphy. And Paul Morphy, as you can see, is playing with the knight odds. He has surrendered one of his knights, and his opponent is Thomas Herbert Worrall. And also this game is one of the rare chess games of Paul Morphy from New Orleans in 1858. Of course, in the previous years, Paul Morphy played many games in the United States. But after 1858, he was in the Europe and he was representing his country. But before leaving his home, he played some exhibition games in his homeland. So as I told you before, Paul Morphy has the white pieces and he starts the game with playing e4, e5, f4, king's gambit, d5, e takes on d5, e4, bishop to c4 by Paul Morphy, bishop to d6, knight to e2, bishop to g4, and Paul Morphy castled, f5, d4, knight to f6, h3, attacking the bishop, bishop takes knight, queen takes on e2, and also Thomas Herbert Worrall castled, bishop to b3, and king to h8 by Thomas Herbert Worrall, running away from this pawn, maybe pushing the pawn, and checking the king ideas. So c4 by Paul Morphy, c5, and en passant, d takes on c6, knight takes on c6, bishop to e3, bishop to c7, rook from a to d1, bishop to b6, and c5 by Paul Morphy, the best move, and bishop to c7, but then d5, and now Paul Morphy is attacking the knight, knight to a5, d6, again the most annoying move for black, the best move for Paul Morphy, attacking the bishop, bishop to b8, where is the bishop going? Well, that's the only square. And then bishop to e6, attacking the pawn with the bishop. And how to defend? Well, we have knight to c6. If something like knight to d7, then queen to b5. And white is winning easily. If knight to g8, then b4, attacking the knight. If knight to c6, queen to b5. And again, white is winning. White is much better in this position. How to defend the pawn? The pawn is defending the knight. This is over for black, believe it or not. So in this position, black needs to be very careful. Black is having some difficulties against Paul Morphy already. And Paul Morphy sacrificed one of his knights before the game. But still positionally, this is not looking good for black. So we have knight to c6 and Paul Morphy captures the pawn, bishop takes on f5, a5, g4, knight to b4, a3, attacking the knight, knight from b to d5, g5 by Paul Morphy, knight takes on e3, queen takes knight, knight to h5. After knight to h5, Paul Morphy is defending the bishop, bishop to g4, and attacking the knight. g6, defending the knight, f5. Well, the pawn is pinned. If pawn takes pawn, then bishop takes knight. So b6, and Paul Morphy played queen to c3, king to g8, queen to c4, that's check again, king to h8, queen to d4, that's check, and we have knight to g7, blocking with the knight. Why? Let's take it back. Well, if let's say king to g8, we have this possible continuation, and as you can see, black is losing, according to the computer engine. And this is all over for black, and black is getting checkmated eventually. Well, this is just one possible continuation, but black is losing in every other variations. So after queen to d4, we have knight to g7, but then Paul Morphy played f6. And what now? We have rook to f7, not moving the knight. Well, if something like knight to h5, then Paul Morphy would capture the knight with the bishop. After g takes on h5, then f7, That's check. The only defense is with the queen, queen to f6, then queen takes queen, and that's checkmate. So after f6, we have rook to f7, and Paul Morphy captured the knight. F takes on g7, rook takes on g7, and rook to f7 by Paul Morphy. And after this move, Thomas Herbert Worrall resigned. The rook is pinned and attacking the rook 2 times with the queen. So threatening checkmate with the queen. Queen takes rook, that's checkmate. And let me show you the possible continuation. Queen to g8. Rook takes queen. Queen takes on g7. Queen takes queen. After king takes on g7. c6. Rook to a7, d7. How to stop the pawn? Bishop to c7. d-pawn promoted to a queen. Bishop takes, rook takes on d8. King to f7, rook to h8. King to g7, rook to b8. h5. Well, as you can see, this is all over for black. And rook takes rook and then promoting a queen. It's over for black. So this is why after rook to f7, Thomas Herbert Worrall resigned. And another very beautiful chess game by Paul Morphy from 1858. So I hope you have enjoyed watching this video, and I hope to see you next time. Take care, and bye bye for now.